technical difficulties, so we're getting started a few minutes late. We have a really great live today. But while we're waiting for our guest, I wanted to say that we've been doing the 12 Days of Giving, and it has been so much fun. I'm getting so many emails and so many responses. People are saying that they, the first day I got an email from someone saying, I wanted to take the class, you discounted it enough for me, and now I just adopted an orca and I picked Oreo. So people are having so much fun picking their animals that they are adopting from various organizations. And these are all organizations that I've either had a relationship with or I've visited, and I've got more organizations. But today is the big day. We're discounting the big program, $1,200, and giving money to you would adopt an animal at the Gentle Barn. So we have actually Ellie Laks, founder of the Gentle Barn, coming on. And if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And it's a program where you can come learn animal communication for fun, or as a profession. You can learn energy healing for fun, or as a profession. And we're building up a nature and wildlife piece. And a lot of these organizations will hopefully be part of the future.
Chris Hobden Wilson says, good morning. I love the 12 Days of Christmas. I got a koala to give to my granddaughter. Her and my granddaughter will love it. And Ellie's here.
Okay.
Okay, we're...
Chris.
There you are.
Okay. So here we have Ellie, the founder of the Gentle Barn, and it's so nice to have you here. And I know that I'm sure everybody knows what the Gentle Barn is that's watching, but just in case they don't, maybe you can share with everyone what it is that you do.
Yes, I would love to, and it's really good to be here. Thank you for having me, Joan.
Thank you.
So at the Gentle Barn, we do two things. The first of which is we save and rehabilitate animals that have nowhere else to go. So animals that are too old, too sick, too lame, or too scared to be adoptable anywhere else. The animal shelters and the veterinarians want to euthanize them. They come to the Gentle Barn and they get to heal. And we use acupuncture, acupressure, chiropractic, deep tissue massage therapy, ultrasound, ice therapy, water therapy, energetic healing, nutritional supplements, and lots of love. And of course, Jill and Joan CBD and animal communication.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then once the animals are healed, if we can find them a home of their own, that's fantastic. We've adopted animals out all over the country. And if the animals need ongoing care and are not adoptable, then they stay here with us for the rest of their lives. And then when they're ready, we partner with them to heal people with the same stories of trauma and connect children to the love and magic of animals.
So amazing. I would love for you to share with people some of the, one of my favorite stories is about the little girl that didn't speak.
Oh, yeah. One of the miracles that happened here, we had a turkey that we brought to an event. And we brought her to several events, and she loved it. You know, she would relax on the grass and doze off while we set up the table and the tents. And then once the event was open, she would sit there and let people hold her and kiss her and pet her. And she was such a beautiful turkey ambassador. Well, one day we brought her to a larger event that had a stage with music. And the minute the band started playing, she got up and started galloping as fast as she could all the way to the stage. And I ran after her like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And this turkey, she got front row center with the stage, closed her eyes, and started swaying to the music. I've never seen anything like it. I sat there for 3 hours and watched my turkey dance to this music. And people were coming and they were surrounding her and dancing also. And I just watched my turkey dance with all these people together. It was beautiful. And then when the band finally broke for lunch, she kind of came to and opened her eyes and said, oh my God, we got to get back to the booth. And she walked herself back to the booth. So when she came home that day, I told my staff that she, for the rest of her life, had to have music So we installed a radio in the barn, and no matter if we were playing country, classic, or rock, she was out there blissed out to the music.
Dancing.
Yeah, closing her eyes and dancing. So several months after that, we started our peace enhancement program, where we had a high school for special needs kids come, and they came with several teenagers, all with different abilities and issues, and they were all delightful. And the first day that they came, I started with a chicken, and I took the chicken around to all the people to pet her. And when I got to the very last teenager, the counselors like jumped in front of her and said, "No, this kid cannot hold the chicken." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "She's prone to fits of rage and anger, and she throws things, and she's not going to be safe for a little chicken." And I heard their words and I believed them, but I was also looking at her sweet little innocent face just standing there. And we have a rule at the Gentle Barn that no matter if you're a human or an animal, you always get to define who you are while you're standing in front of me. I don't care
So
what
beautiful.
yeah, I don't care what you've done, what you've gone through, what's said about you. When you're standing in front of me on Gentle Barn soil, you get to decide who you are. And so I explained that to the counselors and asked if this teenager could have a chance with the chicken. They kind of rolled their eyes and they said, "Okay, but the liability's on you." And I said, "Fine, I'm happy to take that." Well, anyway, this girl, she was in our program for 2 years, and she was never angry at the Gentle Barn, ever, not once, not ever. She always had a huge smile the minute the school bus opened and she heard the roosters crow and realized where she was. She held the animals, she hugged the cows, she walked the horses. She was just delightful. Now, a little backstory of this girl: she was born blind, but otherwise she loved to sing and dance, and she twirled around like a little ballerina. And at 4 years old, the earthquake hit Los Angeles, and it must have been extremely traumatizing to her. And that's when she stopped speaking. So when I met her, she had not spoken a word in 12 years. And she had therapists and speech therapists and psychologists and teachers and all kinds of people trying to help her and get her to speak. And she would not speak one single word. So when she entered the second year of our program, it became my mission in life to help her to speak. And I remembered them saying that she loved to sing and dance. Well, I had a turkey that loved to sing and dance. So I
Of
partnered
course.
them, of course. So I partnered them up, and I told this girl, our turkey Chloe's story of how she loved music and being at the event. And I said, so it's really important that she has music every single day, and it's really important that we sing to her every single day. And I asked if she would help me sing to this turkey. And she nodded her head yes. And it started for the first 3 months with me singing and this girl sitting next to me just stroking the turkey. But by the 4th month, she started humming softly. By the 5th month, she was singing alongside me. And by the 6th month, and by the time she graduated our program, she was completely and fully vocal.
Mm. Oh, and tell them what you started singing.
You are so beautiful.
Yeah. That one, I thought I was going to make it through without tears, but I've heard it a million times. I could hear it a million more times. But anyway, so what you do there is amazing. And you're still able to help people with, even in this time of COVID, right? You're still reaching people, and people are coming to the doing virtual tours and the drive-through. I did the drive-through with Bella Rosa, who now is your intern. And we marveled at the fact that all the people were standing at the fence and all the cows were standing at the fence. It was the funniest thing. Like, all the cows were standing down with the people at the healing center. Anyway, it was really cool. I took
No,
pictures.
it's funny because every Sunday, our visitors are like, "Oh, it's time for our Gentle Barn drive-through," and they come. But the cows are also like, "Hey, it's Sunday. It's time for our human drive-through." And the cows sit and stare at the humans, and the humans stare at the cows, and it's fun for everybody.
I literally took pictures of that. So anyway, so tell us about the darling of the universe, John Lewis, Thunderheart.
Yeah, so this COVID period for the last 10 months has been really intense at the Gentle Barn. We don't have as many volunteers as we usually do, so it's more work on us and our staff. And there's more animals that are being born in slaughterhouses, and so we're getting more calls to rescue more animals, but we have less help. So it's been a very intense 10 months of rescuing more animals, trying to save their lives, working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's been an incredible journey. And one of the last animals that we got from the slaughterhouse was a cow named John Lewis Thunderheart. And he was born inside a slaughterhouse. He had been there for a week by the time we got the call that he was there, and they were offering us to save him. Sadly, his mother was so ill that they would not release her to us, but they did let us save him. So we brought him home to the Gentle Barn at a week old. He was an orphan. He had pneumonia. He had a cough. He had very raspy, loud breathing and a very, very high fever. He was very sick. So we brought him home to our Santa Clarita Healing Center, and it was 106 degrees in the summer, and we bought huge industrial-sized cooling systems to cool down the barn so that he could recover. But no matter what we did, he just wasn't going to make it in that hot barn. And Jay and I just had this moment where we knew we were going to lose him, and we looked at each other and said, we got to bring him into the house. That's the only way to save him. And so we put him in our car, drove him from our Santa Clarita Healing Center to our main location where we live, and we brought him into our living room. And I moved downstairs with him.
Of course you did. Like, there's no other answer. There's no other answer.
Anyone that knows me, like, this story is just not shocking at all.
No, it's normal. And if you know me, I would do the same, right?
Exactly. So I moved down to the living room with him, and I was with him 24/7, all day, all night. You were so gracious, Joan, for you and your students to do energy work on him all day long. I was in person doing scalar wave and energy healing on him that you taught me how to do. We had wonderful vets. And we actually called UC Davis and said, this is the situation. Should we bring him to you? I mean, we just think he's going to die. And UC Davis said, look, it's a 7-hour drive. And given how sick he is, do not bring him here. He is not going to make it. And so we asked them, okay, well, so what would you do different than what we're doing? And they said, well, we would put him in an oxygen tent. And so my husband, Jay, was like, okay, let's build one. So he went to Home Depot and he got PVC piping that he shaped into the shape of a box, and he sealed the box with plastic sheeting, and he basically made an oxygen tent in our living room. And then my wonderful animal care assistant reached out to animal lovers here in Santa Clarita Valley and got some oxygen tanks donated. And we were up and running in a matter of hours. And I think the air conditioning and me holding him 24/7, the energy healing that you did, the oxygen, the great vet care, it all culminated into him getting better slowly and little by little every single day. And he made it. And I kind of held my breath for a good 4 months, not wanting to get too happy, right?
Well, what happened right before that? You lost 2 babies that were, you have the mommies, but I mean, I was up there physically working on those guys every single day. Not every day, but I mean a lot. And there were a lot of people in the program working on those babies, and that was just beyond devastating to lose both of them. And one, I mean, so it was, you had a lot of loss just immediately.
Yeah. And yes, so prior to John Lewis, just like you said, we had 2 moms come in from the slaughterhouse. One was named Light and one was named Patsy, and they each had babies. One was named David and one was named Victory. And they were very, very sick. And we tried so hard to save their lives. I mean, you were there. We did all kinds of energy healing. I had energy healers all over the world. We had Santa Clarita algae superfood. We stopped at nothing, and we just couldn't save them. And so I remember a few weeks later when I got the call for John Lewis, and my husband came and said, there's another baby at the slaughterhouse. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not ready yet. Like, I was so raw and hurting from the loss of those babies that I thought that maybe I could have like a little break. But I remember just saying like, oh my God, I'm not ready. But, that's what we do. No matter how much it hurts and no matter what happened in the past, we just keep marching forward. So, of course, we said yes and brought John Lewis in. And so because of the 2 losses, we could see he was getting better, but I just didn't want to celebrate him getting better until I knew 100% certain that he was going to really make it. And so I just held my breath and I just stayed in the moment. And I just said to him every single day, like, if you want to stay here, we'll spare no effort. If you want to leave, I will bless you on your way. I am here to serve you and I have no attachment to the outcome. And I just kept trying to convince myself of that every day.
Yeah.
But
It was
he made it.
yeah.
And he got through his neuter and he recovered. And now he's almost 6 months old. He is huge. He is gorgeous.
I haven't seen him in 2 weeks.
He's
3
big.
weeks. Yeah. Me and Abby need to sneak over.
Yeah.
I'll wear a mask.
Yeah. Come see him. He's amazing. And he's officially outgrown the house as of just a few weeks. He wanted to make mischief in the house. He likes to pull food off the kitchen table and he likes to pull, pictures off the walls and make a nice big mess in the house.
You're like, that's my daughter's graduation. What are you doing? You're not the most important kid.
Yeah, but when it gets
maybe.
But when it comes time to sleeping, he just does not want to sleep in the house. He likes to be outside under the stars in the fresh air. And so we have an overhang in the backyard that we kind of suited up for winter to keep him nice and warm and dry. And he is happy as a lark. So he goes down to cow kindergarten every day so he can acclimate to the cows. So, his mom is a human. His brother is my dog Sky, and his aunties are cows. So I want to keep him going to cow kindergarten to remind him, like, you are a cow.
You are this.
You are this.
Right. Well, and he's got a friend, Abby, my dog Abby, certainly. That's pretty cute.
And you're going to Abby.
Bring him hiking here. We're going to take a walk in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we trained him to get into and ride in a horse trailer. And so now we can take him hiking and take him walking and take him to really, really fun adventures. So, yes,
we'll take him to Vasquez Rocks, take him to the ocean.
The beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot. Yeah. We have plans. And I think that his main mission in life is to show people that we're all one big family, that you don't have to keep putting everyone in boxes. Like, cows don't have to stay with cows and dogs don't have to stay with dogs. Like, here's a cow. His mom is a human. His dog and friends his brother and friends are dogs. His aunties are cows. And he's saying, basically, his message to the world is, we're all the same, we're all family, and we can all get along.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message. Claudia, do we have a question?
Yeah. So it's just, I think it's a good question because I think it's good for people to know how the animals of the Gentle Barn are named. It's Andrea wants to know, where do these great names come from?
Okay, so could you hear where do the great names come from?
Yeah, so sometimes when I'm really lucky, I get to connect with the animals and ask them what their names are. And so there are some animals at the Gentle Barn that, I got to speak their name, which is really exciting. But a lot of times, especially when there's cases like John Lewis, who they just so much vet care and so much effort to save their lives, there's huge costs into saving their lives, that we have naming auctions. So and also we like people to be part of the community and with their name submissions and with their donations, send in the energy of love, because that helps save animals' lives too. So basically what we did for John Lewis is we had a naming auction where for a $10 donation that went to his vet care, people could submit names. And at the end of a week, we took all of the names, and there were hundreds of them, into a huge, big, giant bowl, swished them around with my eyes closed and picked one out. And John Lewis was born in late July, and the human Senator John Lewis, who dedicated his entire life to equality and civil justice, passed away in early July. And so we had a lot of submissions for the name John Lewis.
That's crazy.
And I was so excited. Yeah, and I was like tearing up and doing a happy dance that I picked that name for him, because he is going to dedicate, our cow John Lewis is going to dedicate his life to equality and justice and opening people's hearts. And that's what the human John Lewis did. So I love that the human John Lewis got to pass the torch to our cow John Lewis, and our cow John Lewis can continue that legacy.
That's awesome. So you joined the big program. You're in the program. You started with the energy healing, and then you jumped into the intensive. Maybe you can share what drew you to it and how it helps the work you're doing.
Yes, Joan, this is one of my favorite topics, and I'm so excited to talk about this today with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I I have an interesting journey because I have been talking to animals since I was a very, very small child. I thought everyone did. It was just commonplace for me to hear what animals were thinking and needing, listening to their voice. I had baby birds that fell out of their nest down the road. And when I was 6 years old, playing in my house with my dolls, I literally heard a cry for help, went all the way down to the lake, found the baby bird, brought her home, and raised her till she could fly away. So I thought everyone operated like that. When I hit high school, not only did the people around me not understand my connection, love, and communication with animals, but they teased me for it. And so I slammed that door shut, just trying to be normal. I just wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't want to stand out and be different. And if they didn't talk to animals, then I just wanted to be like them. And so I slammed that door shut, which led to a very dark, painful, horrible road that almost ended my life. The minute you start denying who you really are, nothing but trouble is going to come your way. And so I finally got to the point where, to literally save my own life, I had to really accept who I am, and I had to do what I've come here to do. So I picked up the pieces of my shattered life. I started my own recovery, and I started rescuing animals. I opened the Gentle Barn in 1999. I started connecting back to animals, to hear them, to love them, to honor them, and to serve them. And that not only has saved thousands of animals' lives, but it has saved my own life, embracing who I am.
And
But I
lots
want,
of people too. You've saved so many people's lives you probably don't even know because they came there and just saw themselves in an animal with a similar situation, or just so you save ad infinitum, right? Like it's infinite what you're doing. Go ahead.
thank you. But I wanted to learn more and be more effective in what I do, and I wanted to serve more. And I've never had any formal training. It's just something that I was born with. And so when I met you and we started getting to know each other, and you started talking about this big program, I was like, oh my God, when I retire, I'm going to be part of this big program like that.
Like you're going to retire, just FYI.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so really what I mean by that is when I die and come back as the next life, I'm going to take your class. And then I was like, no, I don't want to wait that long. How do I do it sooner? How do I do this? How do I do this? And it was just something that I thought about all the time. Like, how do I get this formal training and really connect to who I am? And I don't know, it's just a miracle that you just were so generous to invite me and my animal care managers to be part of the big program and make it happen. I feel like I've won the lottery. And so I started I started with that energy healing class last spring, and that was amazing. Amazing. But the big program started with a 9-day fall intensive. And those 9 days changed my life. I don't know how to describe it. It made me more centered, more focused, more quiet. It kind of like clicked me back into who I am and who I'm supposed to be. And I feel like I'm 100% on track with my life now. Like running the Gentle Barn and saving animals, I was on track, but there was just this little thing missing. And now I'm like 100% on track with who I am. Those 9 days were just absolutely life transformative. And, I'll say to your listeners, if anyone can have the opportunity to come be part of this big program, come to a fall intensive or a spring intensive, connect in a deeper way. And this is what I love to say about what you're doing, Joan, in your school. It's not about learning to talk to animals or learning to heal animals. I mean, it is, but it's really the most brilliant, most powerful, most effective self-awareness thing you could ever do for your life, because really what it is connecting people to themselves. It's connecting people to that still small voice inside of each of us. It's connecting us back to who we really are meant to be as a species. If you look at every single animal on this planet, they all communicate with telepathy. Every single solitary one. It's normal. Everybody does it. You're born to do it.
And among species, right? Like I watched the ravens talk to my horses, like, get out of my way. I'm gonna have that water now. But
yeah, and the horses hear them.
And they go, okay, cool. Step aside.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at every single solitary other species on this planet, telepathy, intuition, communication, it's totally normal, it's totally natural, and everyone does it. And then if you look at the human species, when we were aborigines or natives, we did it too. It was totally normal. We all functioned among the animals and spoke with the animals and with each other through telepathy. But since the Industrial Revolution, we are now immersed in this high-tech, loud, fast-paced world where we are no longer teaching telepathy and intuition. We are no longer relying on our own instincts. We are no longer listening to that still small voice inside of us. We are looking at technology. We are looking at advertising. We are being told what to do, what to eat, and what to buy. And we've lost ourselves. We are disconnected from nature. We're covering Mother Earth up in concrete. We're chopping down the trees. We're enslaving the animals. We have gone awry.
We've gone awry.
We've gone awry. And so really, Joan, the work that you're doing with your school is so brilliant, because it's not just helping animals because you're teaching people to listen to them. You're not just training people to be animal communicators and animal healers so that more animals and people can be happy and harmonious together. But you are literally changing humanity by waking them up and retraining them to what we've always known and we've forgotten. And you're connecting everyone back to who they truly are, to listen to that still small voice, to be guided by their own intuition, and to remember the connections that we all have, that we're all the same. We just look different. And once we awaken to that, whether we do animal communication as a living or not, but once we awaken to that, our lives will never be the same, because then we know who we are. We can hear ourselves. We can be guided by that intuition. And then the next thing we know, we're living our dreams. We're doing what we've come here to do. We're more connected to nature, to animals, and to others. And we can't help but have peace on earth with that. So really,
I'm going to cry.
No, really. So really, your school is about creating peace on earth, even though it's disguised as animal communication and energy healing. And everyone should do it. It should be taught in every high school and in every college. And we should bring the feminine back into balance and save this planet. And this is where it starts.
Amen. Amen. And we always, thank you. I've always said that it is the beginning of world peace, and animal communication is, and I to my core believe it. And maybe we can't quite, get it with people quite yet, but if we could get it with animals, we can transfer that back to people, because we're not doing it with people either. Okay, Claudia says that there's a question.
There's a lot. So Sue Harris said, what a gift you both are, from every perspective, to animals, to the future, to the planet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Wilson was talking about the intensive, and she said, it changed my life too, Ellie. Mine too. Michelle Bass changed her life too. Chris Wilson said, we have the most amazing woman in pod. And Yasmin says, what wisdom of intercommunication between species and between humans. We need to go back to this, and I believe we are, slowly, with leadership and guidance from you. Elaine Majowicz, I hope I pronounced that right, says she's crying. Chris Wilson says, you ladies are amazing, and I love you both.
We love you, Chris.
Love you.
Yasmin says, I have goosebumps because of this deep truth. And Claire Tross says, I love you guys.
Well,
love you.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to go back to something you said, that you wanted to feel normal in high school. What I love about the school and this Learn to Communicate page is this is where animal communication is normal. This is normal. Yeah. This is normal. This is normal. This is normal.
Yes. And I think my biggest struggle, you know, I told you that I've been talking to animals since I was a kid, but I didn't have any formal training. And I think why formal training is so important is because there was always that doubt. There was always that, like, don't talk about it. People will laugh at you. Keep your head down. Don't really talk about that side of yourself. You know, I'm getting stuff, but who knows if I made it up or not. Like, there's just always that doubt and that shame. And you have obliterated that for me. There is
Hmm.
no doubt and no shame anymore. I'm holding my head high. I will tell anyone that wants to know that I am an animal communicator, that I can talk to animals. It doesn't matter anymore if anyone agrees or disagrees or what they think about it. I don't have that doubt in my mind when animals tell me something. I listen, I receive it. There's no doubt anymore. And I am moving forward knowing that I can help so many more animals and people with this knowledge and with this confidence. And you did that for me, Joan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with the formal training, also there are lots of nuances that you doubt, right? Like you might get the information, but how do I say it, or things like that. And how do you think it's going to change care in your, in your gentle barns? Like we've got Jessica in St. Louis, and we've got April here and then you've got my student Bella, that's Bella Rosa, who you just now discovered that Rosa is her last name. Anyway, and
She said, I love my moms, by the way, Bella.
okay. So anyway, um, how do you think this work is going to help the animals in your care?
Yeah, I'm so excited because, yeah, you didn't just make it work so that I could take the big program, but the manager of the General Barn in St. Louis is taking it, and my animal care. Um, April is taking it here in LA, and yeah, one of your students, Bella, just Bella, she is she is here interning with us, and so it's wonderful because, you know, in the past, I would get calls from my staff saying, like, you know, this is what's happening with so and so, this is what's happening with so and so, and I'd be like, okay, well, you know, give me 5 minutes, let me go talk to them, let me see what's going on. And so, I mean, it was great, but I was doubting what I was getting and not sure, but I was still talking to the animals. Now, you know, when Jessica calls me and says, you know, hey, I'm not so sure what's happening, I say to her, hey, you're in the class with me, go talk to her.
That's
And
awesome.
so there's someone managing the Gentle Barn St. Louis who can actually talk to all of the animals and make sure that they have their needs and ask them what they're feeling, if they're limping or there's something wrong. And it's just going to make sure that every animal in every location has everything that they need and has a voice and is heard and listened to. And it just the quality of all, we have almost 200 rescued animals in the combined 3 locations. And because of this course, the care of everyone just went up. It's amazing. Everyone
And
now
you're
has,
part of a community where people can, if Jessica doubted herself, she could put it in the private Facebook group and say, I need help, or, she gets a homework partner. So the community also is supporting always with energy work and what have you of your animals. So
yeah, and everything about your big program is so well thought out. I mean, just everything. The fact that you have to have 65 case studies to make sure that when you are going forward as a profession or just as something you personally do for you and your loved ones, you're going forward with all of that history and all of that confidence and all of that experience. And you've got teachers and you've got assistants and you've got classes, and it all is so brilliantly put together so that everyone comes out of it with so much skill and confidence.
yeah, well, thank you. And if people are interested, we've got the I added another day of the sale for the big program with a big discount, and then you'd be supporting an animal at the Gentle Barn for a year. So it's a big day here with the school, and it's perfect that we got to have you on today. And so I'm so excited because I know there's work. We've always joked that we were the same cell that split at birth, and we were like, all right, I'll see you like somewhere in this lifetime. And it's like, I don't have to do her work because she's doing it so brilliantly, and I'm over here doing a school, and now who knows what we'll do together.
It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Joan.
Yeah.
I am so grateful that you're on this planet with me. I am so appreciative of the work that you're doing. I'm so honored to know you. And if anyone is not enrolled in the big program,
Mm.
I cannot recommend it enough. It's more valuable than college. It's more valuable than anywhere that you can get a job. If you could possibly enroll in the big program, it will change your life. It'll empower you. It'll connect you, and it'll strengthen everything about you. It's
Mm.
just the greatest thing that anyone could possibly do, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot because I look at every single thing you've done. You've just, what you do is so profound, and you change so many people and animals' lives. So it's um, it's a great blend. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. And I guess I have to teach advanced animal communication here in a minute, so I have to wrap this up. And then I'll see you tomorrow night in class in AC Level 1. And then I think we've got to figure out a social distance John Lewis Abbey Sky walk.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.